Hi guys, Macman here. Okay, this is going to be the fourth video in my 338 lapua load development series. So in front of us just some of the stuff we're going to be using today. Obviously I've been showing you in the previous videos, we're using the Reading competition bushing die set. I'm going to be using the Hodgkin's H1000 powder. I got Federal large Magnum rifle primers. Bullets we're going to be using are the Hornady 338 285 grain ELD match. Important calibers and the brass. So you've seen on previous videos where we've gone through. So I picked up the first batch of brass. We neck cut it. So we've taken it down to 14 thou. We went through, we cleaned and uniformed the prime pockets. So even though this was brand new brass, I still run through and do that. And also I went in and I chamfered just the touch of the inside of the neck, just to chamfer them so it's just nice and clean when it goes down when we set the bullets. Because I run these through on my 21st century neck cutting lathe. We did use some Hornady case lube. So I've gone through this morning already, and I've gone through and I've cleaned them, I've swabbed them through, and I've blown out any dust that was already inside these. So these now are all ready to load. So the first step we're going to do is going to load up some of the Magnum primers using the RCB bench priming tool. So let's go over and get that done. Okay, so I've got the bench primer, the RCBS bench primer all set up. I loaded the tube a little bit earlier, so all you need to do is just pull the pin and it drops the primers in. Just cycle it once and it's dropping the primer straight into the holder. So with this, you're just bringing the brass up, setting it in, and just set it till it stops. And if you see there, it is just set below flush. Perfect. No dings or anything in the primers. It's all nice and clean. I've cleaned this all up. As you can see, it's all nice and clean, and if you can just about see, it's just set below flush. So when I go through these, cycle it, pop it in, and try and use the same tension, the same pressure every time, and you're going to get a really nice consistent primer seat. It's all about consistency. The seats are going in about the same on all of these. Smooth, slow, consistent. So I'm going to go through and just finish these off, and we'll be back. Okay, we're going through the last few to get these finished off. Okay, so that was the last one, just like the first one, all set just below flush, nicely set. Okay, so that's them all primed. So the next process is going to be the powder. Okay guys, so now we're getting into the real important part, the critical part of this whole loading process. So I'm going to be using H1000 and we're going to be using a ELD match 285 grain. So my process normally when I'm going to be ready to load, I've normally got my lineman book out, 50th edition. I've got the new Sierra loading manual, and I've got my Hornady manual. So I like to get 3, maybe 4 books out, look up load data, see how they compare with the powder charges, and this will eliminate any misprints that if you go to one book and you've got a misprint, you might load it too low, too high. So by doing this, I eliminate the problem of a misprint in any books. And I just need to say this is not an educational or instructional video, it's just my journey. I'm going to go by load data, what is published by manufacturers, and I'm going to start at the minimum because this is going to be a brand new barrel, brand new gun. So I'm just going to start at the minimum charge, break my barrel in, and then I'm going to work up from there. So when you're doing this, please be really careful. Always go to your manuals. Don't go by what I say. Don't go by what anybody else says. Look at your manuals, look at your data, and make your own decisions. It's the safest way to do this. So going back to the books, obviously this is a 3/3 pour. In the lineman book, it's only going up to a 275 grain. So it's not really doing me any good. And again with the Sierra book, let's see if I can get that to focus a bit better. We've got a 250 grain and we have a 300 grain. So again, we haven't got the right data. So the Hornady book has got the right data in it. It's a 285 grain ELD match, and it's giving you all the powder charges. So we're running off Hodgkin's H1000. It's starting off at a powder charge of 77.2, going right the way through to 89.6. So like I said earlier, this is going to be a break-in period. I'm going to be loading my gun at the lowest possible setting. So we're going to go at 77.2 as per Hornady's book. But what you can do, so I can always write it down. Hornady, and it's giving me a 77.2 charge. So if you wanted to make sure there's not a misprint in the book, you can always go to your other books just for reference. So if you go to the Sierra book to start with, I know it's a 250 grain, but you can look up H1000, and it's got a start in, obviously with a lighter bullet, of 81 to 89. And the maximum with the Hornady was 89 for that particular bullet. So you know they're showing 89, 81. So they're not giving you the 77, but they're giving you a guide that, yeah, we're in the ballpark. And then when you go to the 300 grain, it's giving you 77.4 and an 82.1 for the heavier bullet. So you know you're in the right ballpark. There's not a misprint in the Hornady book, so you know you're pretty good. And there's also a third option that I always go to as well. I go to a manufacturer's website. So this is the Hodgkin's website. 3/3 pour. Again, it's not giving me a 285 bullet, but it's giving me a 275. I'm going to click that. I'm going to click the 300, which is the next one up. Click on the H1000, update the data. And then it's giving you what they recommend for these two bullets. So on a 275, they've got a starting grain 83 to 91, and on the higher bullet, on the 300 grain, they're saying 83 to 92 as starting and maximum loads. So I'm under what the manufacturer's saying. We're going to be running at 77.2. So this is just the fourth check that I always do. I run 3 books, and I'll go to the manufacturer's website. So I know at 77.2, I'm not going to be over, I'm not going to be way under, I'm in the right ballpark. I'm going by the Hornady website, the Hornady book, to match up with the bullet I'm using. I'm going on the exact charge that they're saying. So this is going to be the setup that I use. I've got the RCBS Chargemaster 1500. It's all level. I've set it up. It's been on for about an hour, so it's warmed up. We're going to go through and calibrate it, and then I'm going to be using this Dandy trickler as well, just to finish off the loads. So go through to calibrate. Wait for it always to stable. It's asking for a 50 weight. Stable. Asking for the other 50 weight. Stable. So come back to stable. So we've calibrated it. It's been on for an hour. Put the tray on. Zero it out. Brand new bottle of H1000. I've recorded all the batch numbers and everything in my data book, which I'll show later. And there you go, schoolboy error. Left the vent open after cleaning it last time. So I'm going to have to go through and get that cleaned up. So anybody who's got one of these Chargemasters will always know you're going to do it at some time. You're going to tip some powder and you're going to leave this side open, and it's just going to dump out on your bench. We're only human. So lucky enough, I do keep this bench where I do all my precision stuff clean. I brush it down every day and it's always nice and clean. So with the powder coming out, I can just brush it up, drop it back straight into the dispenser. So I put the powder in there, and then I'm going to put some powder into my trickler as well. Always keep one powder at the bench at the time. You don't want to mix powders up. When you finish doing the process, put it back in the powder pot, store it away. Or only keep one powder on the bench at the time. Nice and safe. So let's get this trickler fed through. So it's a little vibrating trickler. It's a pretty neat tool. It drops one grain, 2 grains at a time. So I just feed that through there. That's nice, that's set up there. Let's get some So we're all zeroed out. So go back, and we're going to be at 77.2. We're going to be pushing for as the lower setting for this round. So we're going to go 77.1. So I'm going to go 100th under. And then we're going to go into and dispense. You can see it drops it. I have got the McDonald's straw in there to help with the flow, and there we are. If you can see that, we're at 77.1. So what I'll do now is I will trickle I don't know if you can see that coming through. It dropped 2 grains. So we've gone to 77.3. So I'm gonna pull this out and redo it again. It's precision. I could get a little tweezers and lift one out, but I haven't got a set of tweezers here in the shop at the moment. We might have to do that, but we'll see how this one goes. So 77.1, it's stable. Let's see if we can just drops 1 grain of powder, 1 grain of powder, $77.2. So I've set it low and I just brought my powders up. Now it's stabilized. I think I know what the problem is here. I got a fan blowing in here. Just turned the fan off. My laptop is off, so I know I haven't got a fan running there, so I got nothing else on the bench. So we're going to go with that one. So once you've dropped your powder, you can see we're having problems with this funnel. It's not really suited to that, so that one's the wrong one. We'll try a different one. I dropped quite a few grains out of that funnel. I do prefer these, but I have not got mine for my 338. It's called an extreme hardcore gear funnel, but I have not got one of these. I've only got it for a 300 Win Mag and my 7mm. So I'm going to empty that out. Dropped a bit of powder. That funnel wasn't the best. So we're showing 77.4. So we're going over a little bit on the charge weights here. So let's go back in and try it again. So we're at 77.1. that grain drop. $77.2. Stabilized at 77.2. Okay, that funnel's working a little bit better. So again, 77.1. Let me see if I can just zoom in on this trickler. Let's see if we can see that working. I have to move it around here. Sorry about this, guys. I thought I could have got it from the other side. So it's sitting at 77.1, and if you just watch, you can just move this, and it's dropping one grain at a time, and that grain now takes it up to 77.2. So there again, it's stabilized at 77.1. Just going to hit the little vibrator and keep an eye on that grain on the end. Drops one grain. Weight didn't move, so we're going to go one more again. Still stable at 77.1. And there you go, 77.2. So we trickled it up to 77.2. Pull that one out of there. And then the last one, 77.1. I'm going to trickle it down again. And you can actually, with these large, more like a stick powder, you can actually watch. You can watch them drop in. And there we go, 77.2. So I'm going to run through, do the rest of these guys, and then we'll come back and we'll set the bullets. Okay, just brought you back, guys. I'm on my last 3 cartridges, gone through, done them all. Been pretty consistent. I think I've only overthrown on two cartridges that I've had to dump and redo them. So this Charge Master is a pretty good piece of kit. So we again dropped at 77.1. Just going to feed a grain at a time. And there you go. trickle it up to 77.2. So pour. As soon as you pour, move your funnel. You know that it's onto an empty case. You're not going to try putting a second charge into a case. So always pour and move, pour and move. Good little tip. So again, she's fed out at 77.1. Just wait for it to stabilize out. The few problems I was having before is I had my AC unit blowing and it was moving air in here and it was picking it up on the scales. So I've just switched, like I said, I switched the AC unit off. I got, she's gone just 1 grain over there. That'll be fine. So you don't want any fans going, you don't want any AC going. Switch your computer off so the fan's not vibrating the bench too much. If you haven't got a speaker or anything on the bench which is banging it, you want to try and keep this as smooth, consistent as you can. All about consistency. So this is the last one we're dropping now. Again, it's pulled 77.1. We'll trickle a grain in at a time, 1 grain at a time. Just let it settle every time it sits, and there you go, 77.2. Cancel that out, I don't want to pour any more. And what I'll do then is I just take it over to the light and I can look in every case, make sure I've filled every case, go through them all. You will know if you double charge them because there's so much powder going in these, you'll be overflowing. So I don't know if you can see it with the, I don't think there's enough light here, but all the cases are full. Now we'll go and seat the bullet, get it down to length. So we'll pop over onto the other bench. I'm going to put my powder away, get it back in the container. I don't like to leave it out very long, so I'm going to do that. Then we'll go over onto the press. Okay guys, we're back at the press. So like I said, all the brass now has been charged. Drop that in. This press is a little bit small for doing my 3 treacle pours, so I might have to look at getting something a little bit bigger, but it'll do the job for today. It's just a little bit tight in there. Putting the bullet in, you get the bullet in, bring it up again. We're trying to bring it up nice and square, smooth, the same sort of consistency all the way through the pull, bringing it back down. So I've set it a little bit deep. So where's my vernier? So we are at 3.752. 3.752. And going by the Hornady book, we need to be at 3.665. So we can start turning this down. Turn it down a few thou. Drop it back in. Like I said, set it a bit more. I tend to hold it at the bottom of the stroke just for a little bit when I'm setting them. 3.72. 3.694. Still got a little bit to go. Three point 676. I remember with 3.665. So I just take the micrometer adjustment down a little bit every time. And we're at 3.65, 3.66. So I could try just going down just a touch, just to try and square that out. But with these plastic tips, these bullets are going to vary just a little bit. Three point 665 on that one. So there you go, that's the actual length that Hornady are giving us. The only thing it is a little bit disappointing with the die, it does make just a little bit of a ring around where it's pushing on the bullet. You can just see it just around there, just a little ring. It's not going to affect nothing, but it's just a little ring where it's touching inside the seating die. So there you go. There's my first completed 338 lapua bullet. So it's been neck trimmed, chamfered, primer pocket uniformed, neck sized, charged to the Hornady spec, seated the Hornady match bullet, 285 grain, and there you go, there's the first bullet. So let's get another one in there. Again, this die has got the slide in sleeve to keep everything in line all the way up. Comes up, you can just to feel it contact, want it contact. Nice, slow, smooth push all the way through to seat the bullet. I just leave it sitting there just for a touch. Bring it back out. Three point 3.664. So this one's set a little bit more. But like I said, it might be down to these little plastic tips. When I get into it more, I'll be using the Hornady, I'm not sure what they call it, where it actually sits further down on the bullet. So I'll be doing my measurements from here. But like I said, these are my first rounds. These are just going to be to run the barrel, break the barrel in, and once we probably put about 50 to 70 rounds through it, then I'm going to start increasing the powder, bringing it up a little bit, trying to get a really tight group, consistent group, and then we'll be altering the powder charge, and also I'll be checking the bullet to the land on the barrel. So I'll be measuring all that. I'll be doing all that in a later video, but I just wanted to get this one done first. Obviously this is my first time at 338 lapua. It's been pretty fun, pretty exciting for me to do. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Again, that one's coming in at 3.664. So coming in pretty consistent. Very happy with them, and I can't wait to go and shoot these. So let me just run through these and I'll just bring you back once I finish doing these. Okay, so I've almost finished running through the seating process. I've got 4 left to do. So probably I'm going to have to get a larger press to make it easier for doing these loads, because this one's a little bit short. As you can see, they're coming out. Really good, really pleased with them. I can't wait to go and shoot these. I've got a couple of things coming. I'm still waiting for a brake to come for the rifle, and the Night Force scope is on the way, so hopefully I can get those in the next few weeks, and I can get out to the range and shoot this. That one's coming out at 3.663. So you can see they're still very consistent. So that's the last one of this batch. Just check that. .663.5. So you can see they come through all very consistent. So there you go. There's my first batch of 338 lapua. I've got 2 more things to show you before we finish this video off. Sorry, 3 more things, and then I'll close it down. So this is probably one of the last things you can do just to finish off. So I got the Hornady Concentricity tool here. So I've got it set up, and I've got about 4 thou, if you can see that, about 4 thous run out on the bullet. So I bring it to its furthest point this way, and I can just turn this gauge just a little bit, and it just moves the bullet in there. And now we can see that on there. I'm on probably less than 1 thou of run out. Which has taken 3 thou straight off the inconsistency of that bullet. Let's try another one. So it's at this lowest point there, so I've got about 3 thou of run out on that one. And again down to about, see, that's like 1 thou of run out there. Let's bring you in a bit closer so you can see that. I'm going to pull this one out. I'm going to do one more. So it's just a matter of setting it in, sitting it inside the gauge. That one's pretty good. That one's only got just over 1 thou, so I bring it to its furthest point closest to me. Give it a little turn. half a thou run out on that one. Let's do another one to see if we got a little bit more. So this one's running at 3 thou run out. So bring it to the point where it's closest. You can just turn and push it just a touch. Change that. And there you go. Round about thou. Probably get a little bit more off that if you spent a bit of time on it. But you're running at a thou run out, which is really good. I'm quite happy with that. I've got no problem running that with the, because I've already taken it down from 3 to 4 thou run out, down to a 1 thou run out. So it's taken a huge amount of tolerance out of that bullet. 2 thou on that one. Down to about a thou or under a thou. So that's that, and then I'll show you one more. So I have this program on my laptop where I can follow the costs of everything. I can load everything into it. It tells me exactly how much cartridge it costs a cartridge, how much a batch is, and this keeps all my inventory. I keep everything loaded in here. So you can see here, gives you the breakdown of the bullets, the powder. So at the moment, that cartridge, those cartridges I've just loaded are costing me $4.26 each. But when I go and change this to next time I load them, and I change it to loaded and once fired, you can see it changes from that $4 down to $2.85. So, and each time you change that to 3 firings, $2.14, 4 firings, $2. So back there, so it's costing me $4.26 at the moment to load it. And I had a quick look on Midway USA. The closest thing I could find was this, the Lupo. It looks like a precision 300 grain bullet, and they're $8 a round to buy. So I'm making it for, at the moment, half the price you can buy ammo for. The one next to it is $9.05 a round, and then you've got that cheap American Eagle, which is $4.45 a round. So I'm coming in at the same price as that cheap American Eagle stuff. But you can see there's $9 a round for this match ammo, $8.75, $7.15. And remember, this is precision ammo we've made. This is going to be far better than what you buy in any shops. So I'm pretty pleased that it's expensive to shoot, but it's still cheaper than what it would cost me to buy. And then just to show you so I keep all my load data in a book. So this is going to be my 338 lapua. So it tells you the case length, what the length it is new, what my actual length was. I keep all the information through. When I was using the neck cutter, you can see there's all the sizes and everything I used there, and how I broke down to get my bushing die. And then over here, then you can see it's the brass, the primers I'm using with the batch number, the powder I'm using with the batch number, the bullets with the batch number, and there's my powder 77.2. I've left the gap there for feet per second, so once I go to the range I can start putting some figures in here. The only thing I've got to add to it now is the overall length, which we did at 2.665. So there you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed doing it. Really, I can't wait to get out and shoot this ammo. It's been fun making it. It's been a great process. I love spending time out in the loading room, and it's great to make really nice precision ammo. So when we go to the range next, I'll do a video and we'll see how these shoot. Thanks, and we'll catch you on the next one.